So first thing you do is you publish to TinCan. So just as one of your options, you can publish to TinCan. So over here on the quick publish menu, which is what I always use. Note you have all of the standard options I think you've seen before. You have something here called activity ID. This is actually the unique ID. This will identify your course. TinCan is set up so that these can be reported to anywhere. And this should be a completely unique identifier for your course. Now, we automatically put in the name of your course here. This is intended to be a helper for you, if you will, to put in your own. I suggest putting in your own company URL if you have one, or something unique that won't be anywhere else. Because if it is what uniquely identifies it, and in the case of a large system which may have many, many different users in there, these need to be globally unique. The activity name and description are just for you. Those don't have to be unique. Those are things that are unique to you. The activity ID is what uniquely identifies that, and it has to be a URL in this form, which is a web address, if you will. And also note that we've reported the test and survey interaction data to the LRS, so that we'll get that information from there. So we go ahead and publish that. When we publish, it just creates a zip file and puts it in there. So fortunately, I have put this up. We have an account in the SCORM Cloud. SCORM Cloud is at cloud.scorm.com. It is a TinCan compliant LMS, LRS, if you will. It can both house the course, and it will keep the TinCan statements from the course. So I've uploaded that TinCanIW there. So let's go ahead and launch the course and take a look at it. Okay, so there it is. It's the same course we were just looking at. I don't think we really need to go through all of the information pages we just went through. But let's take a look at the course. I put a nice little button here to skip to the examples. It'll take me right to the examples. So there's my first question. So we have 3 ways, again, to navigate this. Let's start out by just going through and saying, okay, we've visited here before. I'm going to say I haven't. So I'm going to go to the first page. So if I haven't, remember we had the feedback, and when they said no, the feedback took us to this page. But we also should have recorded a TinCan statement there. Now this is the page that I wanted to know if there were any, if anyone was using those rollovers and pop-ups. Did anybody understand that they need to do that? And we'll see. I'm going to go, oh, I'll just really go a lot of there. So we definitely use those rollovers and pop-ups. So we should get that information in there. That's great. And this is the page where I was really trying to find out if the user ever clicks on the LUC website. So we'll click it, and sure enough, it goes in, and hey, the next user conference is in Hollywood. Hopefully you all knew that. So next year, we'll see you all in Hollywood. But we'll again click forward, and we'll be taken to the test. Now the test is, again, we really didn't do anything special. We just put the test up there, but we'll see what comes across with the test. So first question, San Antonio is Spanish for St. Anthony. That sounds pretty true to me. And San Antonio was named for, bit of a tougher question, but he was actually named for St. Anthony of Padua. And we will submit that to the SCORM Cloud. All right, so we've put our information in. And now let's go ahead and look at it. Now that is, in the SCORM Cloud, that is done through registration. They call it registration statements. So right now the SCORM Cloud just actually loads up your registration statements, and there they are. So what happened earlier? What information was in there? Well, we've gone through, and the first thing that happened is we experienced the welcome page. Now you'll note that I did not put a action in for the page views. Automatically, Lectura automatically does that for you. So every page that's viewed in your title, you will get an experienced for that page going through to TinCan. It's kind of nice because you can really see, without doing anything, you can see the way the user walked through your title. You kind of get a path through the title. And perhaps that's enough to give you enough information. But I found out that, hey, they clicked the no button right here. So we now know that the user went through and clicked the no button, and they didn't know, so that they were taken to the intro page. We can see that right there. And you can see that I was getting a little crazy with the rollover pop-ups. We get a TinCan statement for every one of those, so I can see definitely this user was using all the pop-ups. Then I see that he clicked right over to the Fun and Facts page. Fantastic. And he did figure out the LUC website. All right. So he went through, and these are experience question 1 and question 2. This is the pages, page 1 and page 2 of those are the names of the pages that were reviewed. So we went through and viewed those pages. I probably ought to give those a better name so you can see it's question page 2, question page 1. But we then see that, all right, we went in and we got 100 on the test. I passed the test, and then I went to the check results page. And then here's my interactions. I got a correct answer for San Antonio Spanish for St. Anthony with response true, and I got a correct answer for San Antonio was named for St. Anthony of Padua. And I got 100. Fantastic. All right, so I've got that information. So let's take a look at what happens if we do that a little differently. And I have to always refresh. And we clear out those statements, and now we've got a new set of statements. And let's go back in. Okay, so we're going to take the same look at it, but instead of even answering this question, I'm gonna be your minimalist user. I'm not really doing a whole lot here, so I'm just going to skip through. Yeah, they're not forcing me to do anything here. I'm not going to do anything. You know, just going to answer anyway I want to, and submit it. So now that's your user who, you know, I wasn't in this course. I didn't really force anything to happen. I didn't make the user do anything. So what do we see in that case? So let's view those registration statements. Again, I need to refresh. And we'll see quite different, quite different. I see that the user just went through the pages. He wasn't doing anything. He didn't interact with anything on the pages. I can really see that I need to change that course a little bit because I'm making it too easy for him to just skip through. Of course, he did pay the price. He didn't do too well on that test. He failed the test. Did not do very well. So you can see that he paid for it in the end. So really, TinCan gives you a way to find out information you wouldn't be able to find out any other way. You're able to, with TinCan, you can get the user's path through the course. You can find out little tidbits of information, how they're using your course, and you can use that as feedback to improve your course in the future. It's a great way, and going forward, it'll be the way to go. I think that you'll find, as time goes on, that most every vendor will be putting TinCan into their course, and into their LMSs, and you'll be able to use that in entirely different new ways that we haven't even thought of yet. That's the beauty of the openness of TinCan. So thank you. Thank you very much. I hope I've gone through everything you were looking to find out about TinCan, and I think now we're open for questions, Tara.
Okay, sorry, I was talking without my audio being back. We do have a couple questions in the chat room, so let me just log through. I was answering a few of them, but just need clarification on a couple. So one of the questions was asked if this TinCan functionality is available yet in CourseMill, and I know that is not currently available, but it is slated for a future release, so that will certainly be available in CourseMill soon. Let's see. Oh, someone asked the question, okay, if taking a course from another learning center, such as a subscription learning provider, could this be learning that is recorded in CourseMill transcripts using TinCan? So assuming in the future, when CourseMill accepts TinCan, is that something that we'll be able to record?
You kind of cut out there, Tara. I kind of missed what you're saying. I think the users may have also.
Okay, sure. The question is, if someone is taking a course from another learning center, such as a subscription learning provider, could that learning be recorded in CourseMill transcripts using TinCan?
Yeah, when TinCan, and that's the beauty of it being an LRS, when TinCan is put into CourseMill and put into any LRS, it can the course can reside in one area and report to another area, and that will function that way. But now the LMS has to be written to allow that. But yes, it will allow you to. TinCan is what they call stateless, in that it allows you to report without being logged in, if you will, so you can report information. So you can put in a TinCan destination, you can put in a TinCan way, and that will allow that. It has to be written into the LMS, but it should allow that.
Okay, thank you. Another question here is about using YouTube videos. Is it possible to record the learning that I have through watching a video in YouTube into my LMS? If yes, what setup do I have to make on YouTube and in my LMS? How does it work? I'm
Oh,
assuming if you just pull in, if you pull in your YouTube video into Lectora, you can use an on-done playing action, right? And just run a tin can statement off of that.
yeah, that'll work. I think the question was more like, could they do it directly from YouTube? But yeah, you're absolutely correct. You could do it in that way. Directly from YouTube, they would have to put that support into YouTube, and I don't think it's not in there right now. Don't know if they are planning on supporting that in the future.
Right. Let's see. Someone asked the question, if you don't have an LMS, where is the information stored?
Don't have an LMS. So I'm not sure exactly on that question whether they're talking about if it's the information or the content. So if you don't have an LMS, the content can be stored anywhere. It can be stored on a separate. It has to be on a web server, right? You have to take that information on a web server, but it can be stored just about anywhere, and that as long as you know where to report to, it can report out to that web server. It'll be stored in the LRS, if you will. There has to be an LRS that receives it, right? So that talks TinCan. As we spoke about, it's like speaking a language. If TinCan is French, you need to speak to someone who understands French in order for that information to be recorded.
Right. Question here, are there standard reports to use, or do you have to create your own reports from the data? Can you download into Excel? I'm assuming the TinCan statement information.
Certainly the TinCan statement information, as is today, can be downloaded to Excel. So TinCan is new, and TinCan is new, and it's changing all the time. And the SCORM cloud has a great, and the first representation of that, a great way to put it up there. But it is, fairly rudimentary in its reporting capabilities, in that it lists out the statements for you, and then you can download those and reporting on them yourself. You will see as time goes on that you will have tremendous reporting capabilities, because if you think about it, it gives you unlimited potential to report on TinCan information. You'll be able to, let's say you've put in one of your interactions is, I watched a YouTube video, for instance. Well, you can go, theoretically, once that's in the thing, you should be able to go in and just type out that statement and get a report on exactly how many students, what percentage of students watched the YouTube video, things like that. That all has to be built into the LMS. Those are things that are not built in right now. Until they get TinCan support, they won't be, but they're all building in. As you can probably imagine, there's a lot of work that will need to be done on the LMS side to allow this kind of free-form reporting. But it'll give you a lot of power when it does.
Okay, good. Another question here, why is pretty much everything called experienced? I think some of the examples John used in terms of his TinCan statements, he used experienced, but you have a number of verbs available in Lectora: answered, asked, attempted, attended, commented, completed, failed, launched. John can show you the list there on his screen. But I think some of his examples just for today, he used the verb experienced, but you have that entire list available to you in Lectora. So.
Right. Right. And experienced is the standard one. It's actually known as the Experience API. As TinCan morphed over time, many of these were added, but Experience is kind of the standard one that's used many times. But as you said, there are many different things you can put on here.
Can you see collective results for multiple users? I imagine that might depend on your LRS that you're using, but
Exactly,
on how that reporting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, the LRSs are in their infancy right now, and they will get better over time. And this time next year, if we were to have this, I'm sure I could get pie charts on how many people, clicked on the logo versus didn't click on the logo, and bar graphs on over time, day by day, how many people did it. I mean, there's so many different possibilities, but all that has to be created. I mean, TinCan, is about a whole month old right now, so.
Can TinCan be published to our own LMS or only to the cloud?
If your LMS supports TinCan, it certainly can be published to that. So again, it has to speak the language. But yes, I mean, once it supports TinCan, it can be published there.
Do you have a list of the new things that TinCan tracks? Can really
I guess that would probably be an infinite list, right? Because it can be anything your heart desires. That's the beauty of TinCan. It's freeform. It's freeform, but it's structured. You can it's structured in the way it records it, but it's freeform in what you can record. So you can track anything that an action can be put on. So I can, and an action is really, I mean, it's triggered on, anything, page shows, hides, mouse clicks, enters. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do to trigger. So it really can track just about anything you can imagine.
Mhm. For the URL, can you only report to one address? Not sure.